Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lab today. This is buffer and salt hydrolysis lab. Before we start the lab, I want to remind you quickly uh, about the safety role in the lab. You need to, before you come to the lab, you need to make sure you have your gog, your lab coat, and shoes that completely cover your toe. Now, uh, we are going to perform the buffer and salt hydrolysis lab. What is the purpose of this lab? We all know that buffer are solution that resist change in pH. When you take a buffer solution, when you add an acid, the pH will not change. It will resist the change to pH. Even though you add a base to it, also it will resist the change in pH. So this lab has two parts. In the first part, you're going to determine the Ka and Kb of a different solution. Okay, I will tell you in a little bit how you're gonna proceed to do that. Also, in the first part, you're gonna have to determine the pH of boiling water and the pH of a non-boiling water. Okay, so when you get the water, you measure its pH, and then you get that water to boil, and after a boil, you let it to cool back down, and you measure its pH too. So that's the first part of the lab. But in the second part of the lab, we know that buffer resists change in pH, but to what extent they resist change in pH, but they will resist to some extent. We call this concept a buffer capacity. So in the second part of this lab, you're going to prepare a buffer solution and then measure the extent, its capacity, measure its capacity. You're going to have to prepare a buffer solution and measure its capacity to hold the pH unchanged. Now, from this lab, you need a hot plate, a 400 milliliter beaker. You also need 150 milliliter beaker, okay, or 250 milliliter beaker. You need a graduated cylinder. I have a 50 milliliter graduated cylinder here. Okay, you also need a pH mirror. Now, we're going to move to part one of the experiment. To start, you need to collect a pH mirror and calibrate it if necessary. So this is my pH mirror. Also need to make sure your pH mirror is working. So open it and make sure it's working. Push the on button and on the off button. So mine is working. Okay, just to make sure before you start this experiment. and you have your baker, 400 milliliter of baker, and 150 milliliter of baker also. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do in the first part is to measure the pH of a boiling water and a non-boiling water. My water here also, okay, getting ready to boil. I have my uh, non-boiling water here. Okay, so I'm gonna take the pH of the non-boiling water. Good. I have the pH of my non-boiling water. You should have your notebook also on the side, and then when you get the pH of the non-boiling water, you write it down in your your notebook. So after you get the pH of the non-boiling water, you're gonna move to get the pH of the boiling water. Now my water is getting ready to boil. It's not boiling yet. I'll wait until it boils. And when it get done boiling, uh, I will take it off and let it cool down and take its pH. Okay. Now the water you have to measure, okay, to boil should be at least over 200 milliliter, because you're gonna need that hot water in the last part, in part two of the experiment. So you need enough quantity of water to boil. Okay. Now, after you measure the pH of the unboiled and the boiled water, you're going to move to the measurement of pH of different solution. We have different solution here. You're gonna have to measure the pH for at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, six solution, at least 6 solution, different solution, and then fill up a table in your notebook. Okay, there is a table there you have to fill up. When you get done measuring the pH, you need to make sure to clean up the probe of your pH meter. Now, not only when you are done measuring the pH of those solutions, okay, but I think there is a precaution when you are measuring the pH of the different solutions. You do not want to pollute the solution. So when you measure the pH of one solution using your pH meter, before you move to the other solution with the same pH meter, make sure you clean the probe of the pH meter, because you do not want to pollute the solution. In order to do that, you should have a beaker with water. Get any beaker and put the water in. And anytime you get the pH meter out of a solution, before you put it in another solution to measure the pH, you have to put the probe inside the water, okay, dry, and before you move it to another solution. This is very, very important. And this is how you proceed to measure the pH of all those different solution you work with. This is part one. When you're done with part one, make sure, like I said before, part one, make sure you clean up. If you have any solution to dump, you dump them, but do not dump the water. Okay. uh, when your water boil, it's boiling now. My water is boiling now, as you can see on the screen. My water is boiling. Okay, so I'm gonna take it out of the hot plate and sit it down here to cool. Okay, and make sure you turn your hot plate off. Okay, so when the water cool, I'm gonna measure its pH. Okay, so this is the first part of of the lab. I hope you get the help you need actually to perform this first part of the lab. Okay, thank you for your attention. Now we're gonna move to the second part of the lab on the next video.